y'all put your hands together for Joey, Matthew, and Andrew Lawrence. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Hey, Andy.
Hello.
You guys can sit wherever you like.
All right.
You sit on a table.
Right here.
On my lap. I don't care where you
Oh my
sit.
goodness.
How are you guys? I'm so excited.
Are those floating candles?
Oh, we had a Yule Ball
Cool.
on Friday evening because we had a couple guys from Harry Potter.
Where was I?
I know, right? Where were you? That would have been very exciting to have you guys here.
When I was in school, I wore glasses and had a similar haircut to Harry Potter, so I was constantly wearing glasses.
I was like, I see it. I see it.
Good call. I was constantly picked on, called Potter.
No.
In 6th and 7th grade. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I didn't mind it. He's kind of cool.
Well, I know. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, he's the man. But,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Right. I love it. Well, I'm so glad you guys are joining us today. I am personally, I'm like so stoked to be doing this interview with you guys. I'm a big fan of all three of you. How are you enjoying Corpus Christi so far?
It's been great. The people are so nice. And, yeah, it's a beautiful town. Thanks, bro.
Is it Mike?
It's a beautiful town, and yeah, we're having fun.
Is it y'all's first time here?
It is.
I say y'all, by the way, as we get a lot of y'all's here. So.
It's y'all's first time.
Y'all's first time here.
Yeah,
Nice. I also heard you went to the Hooks game, or Corpus Christi Hooks, and threw out the first pitch. But I'm curious, how did you guys throw all three of you threw the first pitch, or how did that work?
Individually.
Did you really?
We did.
Nice.
We threw one ball, all of us touched
Together?
Yeah. Our powers combined.
We should have done.
Captain Planet.
We should have. No,
Speaking
he
of,
threw out.
where is Captain Planet? Isn't that like due for like?
I would think so, because I love that show.
I love Captain
I know,
Planet.
me too.
And Animorphs.
He's a hero.
Remember Animorphs?
Yes.
And where are these brilliant things that nobody is?
You would think they rebooted, because they rebooted practically
Everything.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's coming.
I think Super Dog is getting his own franchise now. So.
Probably.
Yeah.
I can see that. Totally.
Yeah,
Crypto.
Crypto, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. We got to throw out the first pitch. We didn't get to warm up though. You know, it's always
Who's
tough.
the best? Like, who's the best at throwing that first
Well,
pitch?
honestly, I think. Look.
Okay, I'm gonna step in here and say that I was totally joking and said that I threw the best pitch, and then someone behind me said, "You know, we heard that." So I'm just gonna assume that
We're gonna start that.
Yeah, like that's the truth.
Everybody, Andy,
Even
threw the
though
best pitch.
it's pretty equal. It's pretty equal. And then to Joe's point, none of us had thrown a baseball in 20 years. So it
Yes.
was,
No, not like that.
Right.
I mean, because it's different. I think we all kind of threw it like we would throw it to an outfielder. You know what I mean? Just because you want to get it there, because it's a little bit of a misnomer. Everybody understand, but I mean the mound's higher than the plate.
Right.
So your initial reaction is to throw down, but if you throw down, it actually will round it in 3 seconds. So you have to let it release high. The problem is, unless you've warmed up or practiced a little bit, to zing it and get it there at the right sort of height is not easy to do.
No.
So Andy and I played it safe, and we released high, and
yeah.
more like a throw.
Matt
I
Brown.
thought you said you two. What happened with that?
Matt Brown. He put some heat on it. Joe and I were more like softball pitches.
Yeah,
we went.
Yeah. So Matt put heat on it, and then it grounded it, but ours were not any better on the other side. So
I gotcha.
if we'd had some time to warm up for a minute, honestly, we could have done
Been
it.
drafted to the hooks.
I know you've been playing now.
I mean, we're all athletes. No, but it was, we got it there, so that was cool.
That is true. I didn't even
But
think
the
about
ballpark
it.
is so nice,
It
and everybody
is.
was so nice. It's such a beautiful little
The
park.
view of the ballpark.
Oh,
is
it's
nice.
so
and by the
nice.
way, you guys are getting one of the last views of the old Harbor Bridge. That's kind of the thing
No,
here.
yeah, it's coming
They're
down,
gonna
right?
demolish it next month.
Why?
So, it's been there forever, and it's old, and just it was time.
It's time to
and
go.
really, the new bridge is gonna really improve the economy because you can get bigger ships.
Yeah,
and
actually, the
stuff.
cruise lines are going to start coming into Corpus, right? Which
Well,
happened
we'll
in-
see, guys. We'll see.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Actually.
But that's what I heard.
Yeah, so the new bridge is kind of
Local government's working on some carnival stuff.
working on it.
Yeah. We just had a meeting down there. We know.
you guys are part of the committee. You guys are part of the Corpus Christi.
We like the bridge.
After the Hooks game, we joined the committee.
You guys are honorary Corpus Christians.
We got the key to the city, so basically,
Yes, you're the mayors.
and we're going to use it. Does this work? I'm sorry. Have you seen this? Because I think we can get into that building. I've gotten a couple honorary keys. They're useless. You can't open up
I
anything.
know you do with it.
Nothing.
Hang it on
Literally, it's
your wall.
symbolic. It's totally symbolic. I tried, and they let me into nowhere with that.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, let's get into it. I'm so excited again. I had some questions. You guys, any questions that you have, be thinking of them now. I'm going to do some of my own questions, and then we're going to have you guys line up right over here. Give your name and your questions. So be thinking of that and get ready to line up halfway through our set, and I'll make sure and make that mention when we get ready to do that, guys. So, the Lawrence family Definitely known for being very tight-knit, obviously. We got the three brothers here with us. With family really being at your core, kind of in everything you guys do, and especially going from your early work to the podcast, we'll get into that. How is that really kind of family being the main center of what you guys kind of like your ethos in what you do in your career? Well, first of all, actually, I want to ask, do you guys fall into the typical sibling tropes of like oldest, middle, youngest? I saw that video that you guys did, that trend that was like, I'm the oldest, of course I'm, and then it gets to Matt, and he's like, I'm the middle kid, of course I, and then it cuts off, and then it goes back. I love that. Are you jammed sometimes, Matt? Do you feel like kind of jammed sometimes?
If he was early on, he's made up for it, you know? He's the jammer now.
Best part is Joe didn't even let him speak, which is the best part. Come on!
Classic.
He just cut him off. I know.
Yes, I am the middle, but I do have those middle tropes, but I tend to enjoy it. I don't have any, bad feelings about it.
Right, no jam, yeah. Joey's never got a football to the face, that's good. So
I got a
again,
frisbee to the face.
did you?
It was accidental, but yes.
Who threw that?
Matt
Matt did.
Oh, wow.
fractured my nose.
You're kidding.
Nope.
So you were jammed, kind of. I'm not,
Yeah.
that's Marsha, you were Marsha.
Yeah.
50 yards away, I'll just say.
Andy didn't catch it. It was coming.
Hit me
was
square in the
like a
eye.
hurricane.
It was at night.
You could see it for 3 days.
Somebody called my name. I turned around because I didn't think it was coming because it was taking so long to get there. And then when I turned back around, whang!
I'll never forget Matt looked at me and said, how did I do that? He saw it. It was so far.
I was like 7 too.
He played a song in between there and oh! It's great.
Well, you guys obviously, again, have this great relationship, and your mother and your father have been a big influence as well. So give us a little bit of background on that. Like, I know there was a great story about like your mom bringing you to New York. Like, so talk a little bit about kind of the early days of the Lawrence family.
Sure.
Andy wasn't around. It was pretty different.
Boring.
Pretty handy.
Yeah.
Boring.
It was just mad guy. No, man, look, I mean, it's really, you start at those humble beginnings. My mom's a teacher. My dad, still to this day sells life insurance. My mother still teaches, just this weird sort of inkling to be in the TV. My mom took me to a picture contest, won it, went to New York, auditioned. I didn't really read because I was just barely 5, so I didn't read at the level that, like, you had to learn sides, and they gave me this big monologue for like a national commercial, and my mom didn't know if I could memorize it, but she basically recited to me, and I recited it back and went in, and the agent was like, that's pretty cool, send them out, and then I got the commercial, and just started to steamroll that first year, and one thing led to another. I was auditioning for The Tonight Show, and back then with Johnny Carson and The Tonight Show, which I know a lot of people here probably never even heard of, but he would launch careers. You could come out on that thing, and if you did well and had a really kind of special interview, which I ended up having, you could really change things overnight, which it did. It was sort of like a viral video, going like viral. I mean, truly.
Early days of viral.
Yeah.
Carson show.
So yeah, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. TV was readily available, even though Matt and I also sang and did other things, and as my success sort of opened up doors, Matt also realized he wanted to do it and sort of jumped in, and then when we had Andy,
They kept me in a cage.
we did.
Until you were matured enough to be out to
They threw out a ham bone on stage and they said, go to work.
That's right. No, it's funny, we've told the story before, but the really funny thing is when Andy was born in the hospital, because my mother pulled us out of the business, which I'm so glad she did for like 3 years. And I went to middle school every day, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. It was awesome, really great. Those are some of the best memories of my life, actually. But and we always stayed enrolled in our private school. Matt and I did back in Philadelphia until we officially moved in. Matt, because he was young, went to high school out here. But other than that, or middle school, right? We entered middle school, like 7th grade, right? Yeah. So, when Andy was born, the president of NBC at the time sent a contract, flowers, and a contract to the hospital where he said congratulations, and then said we'd like to sign this one up. For real.
birth?
At birth. I mean,
Hearsay.
he was kidding, but not kidding, but that's kind of like,
It was like
Andy
on the
was born
birth
into.
certificate.
He was born into that sort of.
It actually said it's at Montgomery County, NBC.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like on the official birth certificate. I love
So
that.
anyway, yeah.
Wow.
We started in Philadelphia, and then officially moved out to California. We moved out in like '81 when I right after the Tonight Show, because NBC signed me to do a couple pilots and stuff, but we didn't officially move till the late '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I guess we'll kind of start again with Blossom. I'd like to at least mention, I loved that show. I
cool.
was fairly young when that show was on, but I still remember it. It resonated with me. It was a bit ahead of its time, really, with some of the things it tackled, like, single parents, divorce, addiction. That was actually very controversial at the time on television. But it had like it was very heartwarming. Your character, so lovable, obviously catapulted your career. Not the brightest crayon in the box, but I will say there was definitely some moments I feel like they gave to you in the series that were very deep and had emotional depth, and you did them very well, and you had that nuance to it, and that range, and I thought this was really great. I mean, so added, of course, you had a lot of levity in your character. It was great to watch, it was fun to watch, but there was a lot of depth there too, and I thought that was really great. So talk about a little bit of your time in Blossom. Do you look back on that time fondly? Is that something?
For sure, it was great. It was great, yeah. I had done a couple of pilots in between Give Me a Break and that show, and they didn't go, and then with the Blossom one, it was just, went back to the NBC, the old school NBC, and kind of where it began, and then, went in, auditioned, did a chemistry read, and they told me in the parking lot, so it was old school.
That's
really,
awesome.
Really
and you guys both also made appearances, was it both of you, or was it just Matt? Made appearances on the show as younger versions of yourself?
Correct.
Was it hard doing the whoa?
Yeah, I still
It's hard. It's hard. It's like a special way to do it. It's not easy. When they told me I was gonna do your panel, I swear to God, I'm not even kidding. Like, when they said that, they're like, you get to the Lawrence panel, and I was like, whoa, like I literally said that.
If I have allergies and stuff, which I do, I can't really, I sound like that when I do it.
Whoa, I do it terrible. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
not bad, it's just
terrible.
You get a little phlegm in your throat. That was fun. Look, that was a great ride. I mean, the 90s were, first of all, it was a great decade. I think one of the last great decades that we've had in a while, but as a decade goes,
Right.
But it was also a great time. I mean, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It was so much fun. That kind of success, be like 15 and 16, 17, 18. It was really.
And it like holds up. I went to revisit some of the episodes, and I'm like, this like holds up today. Like, I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's streaming anymore, but I would love to see the entire season.
I don't know if it is. I know that, I don't know that. I know it's around the world in a lot of places now, but I don't know if it's streaming here on anything.
Well, it was a fantastic show. It really was, part of the culture, really pop culture of television history, and will always hold a place there. Very cool. Kind of cool in several careers, but definitely yours is one of them. And I'd like to move it over to Matt.
Sure.
How are you, Matt? Hello. So I'm a big fan. It was like I was feeling slightly closer to your demographic when you were doing your projects.
Okay.
Mrs. Doubtfire, guys, one of probably some of my favorite movies to this day. Also, I don't know if you guys had a chance to chat with some of the Harry Potter guys. Chris Rankin, he talks about in his interviews, and I brought it up during his panel, that Mrs. Doubtfire is one of his favorite films of all time. And I think I must quote that film once a week, I don't know, the whole time. There's just so many things I love about that movie. And your character really added a lot of depth, a lot of relatable moments. There's a lot of real issues. It was comedy, it was incredible. Of course, the late, great Robin Williams, amazing. But your character really was a standout as well. I really felt that way. And I can't help but, wonder what that was like. At that time, I know you were pretty young during all of that. You guys, again, got to work with Robin Williams. What do you take away from that experience when you look back on it in retrospect? I know you were in the business already, but I really do feel like that shifted your career in a real way when that happened. So
for sure.
Talk a little about that.
Yeah, that was, it was just an epic experience all around. Everybody, and it's very few times you get to experience a crew that size and all of them working so well with everything that they do. I mean, everybody, every head of every department was just incredible. Talking to them and all the things I got to learn from everybody, and obviously from Robin and from the director Chris Columbus. I mean, man, I've got so many incredible memories, and because I like reptiles too. They had just finished Jurassic Park.
Gosh, have you seen the new one, Jurassic?
I have, yeah.
Have you seen the dinosaurs behind the escalator? No. They have a whole, I've been telling everybody about that, I forgot to mention it today. Behind the escalator, they have an entire Jurassic Park, whole setup.
Oh, cool.
I actually wrote it, it looks so stupid, I took a video of it. You could ride a little dinosaur that you can move up and down, you can take photos. It's really cool. I'm a big Jurassic fan too, so.
No, they were talking to me about it, and they even gave me one of the pieces of amber with the mosquito in it.
Cool.
So it was super cool to get to meet all those people at the same time. And it was just that point in your life. I mean, I was 12, but I had, you had to grow up fast. when you're working, especially when you're working for pretty young. So it's weird because I know I was young, but I wasn't really treated like a kid. Like you have someone, for example, like Robin Williams, who he got me the job to begin with.
Did he?
Yeah, he got me the job, flat out.
Oh, wow.
There was a big screen test, and one of the other kids was definitely in the lead when it comes to the studio and everybody what they were thinking. And for some reason, Robin really he had the ones that he liked, and he made sure, especially in my audition, that I got it. And he did it because they were looking for this. You know, at that time, those auditions, the room was almost as packed as this. So, and we were on a couch similar to this, and Robin came in pretty much in the Mrs. Doubtfire getup. It was pretty close. And at first, the kids, we didn't know that it was Robin. We were waiting for Robin. She sits down and starts doing her thing, and then the director comes over and says, "We just want you to know, this is Robin Williams playing, Mrs. Doubtfire, and he will also be your dad in this, but for the screen test, we're going to play it." And so then we were like, wow, yeah. Then when I cued in that it was actually Robin Williams, I was like, wow, it's already impressive. Anyway, they were looking for this one moment in the audition scene where it's a physical reaction to this lady and how strong she is. And they hadn't gotten that joke out of the other two boys that were auditioning for this movie. So when it was my turn, and I was going last, and to be honest, they usually kind of put it like their favorite first, and then like the wild card in the middle, and then like their second favorite at the end, just in case. So I think I was kind of in second place, is where I was kind of placing. And Robin was like, look, and again, like, think of this, I'm 12 years old, and he pulls me aside in the middle of this massive screen test and says, listen, nobody's got it yet. And there's something that we're all looking for. If we can bring down the house in this one moment, we're going to go and spend the next 8 months together. And I was like, wow, whatever. He was like, just go with it, react, go with it. And we get back on the couch, we sit down, and so he was like, let's get up. And it was like the soccer scene that made it into the montage where we're playing soccer, in the park there. That was a whole scene that they had just taken out of the movie. So that scene was the audition scene. And so he's like, okay, and he had a little ball, and we're doing it, and he comes over, and he's like, body checks me. But while he body checks me, he gives me the hardest purple nurple. And I let out this scream, and I fall around, and the house just lost it.
Wow.
Everybody starts laughing, everybody starts going crazy, and we finish out the scene, and Robin, with this little twinkle in his eye, just goes, there you go, there you go.
I don't want to cry. That's so cool. I love
And
that.
it was, I can see his eyes even to this day. He had this magical twinkle in his eyes.
He always did.
He just has that, especially when he lights up about something. And he was very, he was very passionate about us three kids from that point on. And
How cool that he saw something in you, and even like knowing you guys, all three of you, that he felt something in a connection.
Yeah,
He did. He had a real good connection with Matt.
yeah, he let me in on these crazy things that I'm now thinking, like, I don't know if maybe I guess if I met a kid and I was like, I saw a part of myself in him, maybe I would, but I have yet to meet a child where I would open up to my other side as well, because he brought me into the bad sides of the entertainment industry, substance abuse and what it can do to your brain, and he brought me into his, how his life is really great or really bad. And that's just, it's wild to think at 12, but I guess I just assumed I was more adult than I was.
Well, I think also that's natural, being the fact that you guys kind of all grew up in the industry and all that, you matured very quickly and kind of are adult situations very quickly. But I think also I feel like that's really great that he gave you that. And then looking back and knowing that, he's no longer with us, and you look back and think, man, I was a part of, I got to know him, I worked with him, and that's really special. You're part of a very small group of people that got to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel totally blessed to have that experience.
Very cool.
Especially
Wow, that's awesome. I love it. Andy, I know you had a lot of success with Recess.
Yeah.
TJ, how was that experience stepping into that role? You guys remember Recess?
It's awesome. It was so
Very
fun.
cool.
Yeah, I filmed it again when I was in elementary. I had some really good friends that have carried on through my adult life from elementary school, but because I was in and out of school so much, working and then actually going to a real school, it wasn't always easy to make friends, right? Hence the Harry Potter. I also have a scar on my forehead, so that's anyway. But being able to go to school, and then after school, I would go to the recording booth pretty pretty close to where I went to school, and I would get to hang out with a whole bunch of friends.
That's
Of the cast of Recess. Like we really were buds, especially for those 5 years that we did that show. So it was really fun. It was like a great time. I was in 5th grade, and like I got to go to school and then get to go do Recess. It was so cool.
right?
Yeah.
Your job is recess.
It was awesome. It was really fun.
That's really cool. I love
Yeah.
that. And that was a big part, again, of a lot of our growing up and being a part of that. Very cool. And I always talk to, we talk to a lot of voiceover actors here, and I was talking to even Ron Perlman yesterday. He does a lot of voice work. It's challenging. People sometimes have this perception of like, oh, it's not live action, it's not as that's, I think, personally, I think that's BS. There's a lot that goes into it, and your acting chops have to come through just based on your vocals.
Yeah.
There's nothing visual that you can add to that. So talk a little bit about the difference maybe between doing voice work as opposed to live action.
Yeah, pros and cons for sure. You know, one of the things that I think for me, it's a little less stressful because physically, there's pressure on as an actor. When you're always being looked at, there's a pressure. Whatever it is, to look a certain way or perform a certain way or execute a certain way. So for me, not having to worry about the physicality is a little bit of a relief because I can show up in sweatpants. And I can be comfortable.
Like working from home.
Totally, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I love animation and stuff, so I love that. But at the same point in time, to your point, you have to make sure that tonally you're executing and hitting a vein that you're supposed to be. It's easy to go too big and sound stupid or to not convey enough emotions because, again, you're fully dependent on your voice. So, pros and cons.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to kick it really quickly back to Matt real fast just because I'm a huge Boy Meets World fan too. So I'm wearing a I Heart Joey shirt because Joey was my first love when I was growing up. Matt became my second though, not just because of Mrs. Doubtfire, but I was a massive Boy Meets World fan. I watched every single episode. But I do know that you were obviously part of a new wave of cast members that came in. What was that with? It's so weird, and this was before I even knew I was going to do this panel. I ran into, anytime I see any of the reruns, it's one of those where I'm like, oh, I'm watching this. I'm just going to, because it's very, nostalgic for me. And it was an episode where there was tension between the core 4, the core 5 or something, and then the kind of the 3 new cast members as like, we don't feel a part of you guys. We're not, we don't have the history you guys have. We feel like we're on the outside a little bit. Well, how much of that was reflected in real life? Did you feel that way a little bit coming into the cast that been together, I think like 4 years at that point? And there was some conflict, we've seen it on some websites about it, there was some tensions and some dramas sometimes in the past, but you were well received for your role, but I'm just very curious to see what that experience was like.
It's always going to be a little bumpy when you're thrown into a family that is a really tight-knit family already, and I'm so funny, and recently now that people have been sort of asking these questions and reflecting back on Boy Meets World, they didn't know either that I was joining the cast. And I found that out only almost 2 decades later, when these questions finally have been starting to be asked.
It was on a podcast, wasn't it, or something?
They didn't know either. They're like, who are these new characters when they get the script for the table? And then I walk through the door.
Yeah.
So they had no clue either. And I also, on a personal note, I had a little bit of a different style and cadence when it came to the sitcom, approach. I had learned it pretty much through Joe. I mean, that was my kind of sitcom learning, was, the shows he had been on, or working on the shows, or literally directly working with him. So that was my cadence.
Or merely sharing a room.
We did share a bedroom too.
Oh, yeah.
I was 16.
That's true. I didn't know where you were going with that, Ann, but I was 16.
I shared a room.
Yes.
When I was 16, you believe this?
Yes, we did. So,
We had bunk beds.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. So I had
On Blossom. In a bunk bed.
my third season of Blossom.
I was sitting on a cot in one of my parents' bed.
Like, I wouldn't even hear that you guys would skip going out, because obviously you're in the industry, there's probably so many opportunities to go have fun and go party and go do fun things, and you're like, no, I just want to go home and eat with my family and have a home cooked dinner.
That night.
And I'm so glad we made those choices because we don't have our grandparents with us anymore, and they moved in with us, and that's what's so special. We had dinner for 9 every night. It was awesome. I mean, it was incredible. Those are such incredible memories. Now I'm so glad we did choose those.
Me too.
Party.
And it carried even through to even on this trip. Like we were talking about, we had so much FOMO because we didn't go check out the aquarium last night. We didn't go to the ship. We literally sat in the hotel room with each other and ate some food. And just,
Yeah.
Aww,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
Yeah, it's true. But
those were great memories, man.
Oh,
Yes, the best, truly the best. Yeah.
Oh, we totally got off.
Yes,
Sorry.
back to what that was like. Yes, it was a little bumpy. It was a little bumpy. I didn't have their cadence, so the first network run through we did, I got like hammered with all the notes. I mean, literally there were no notes to anybody else in the show because they had been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I had like the hour-long note session. I had to sit there in front of 123 people that I just met, all the cast, and take basically my entire performance apart and show me what I needed to do to stay on the show. And so that, was for me. I'm glad I had my family because after that I didn't obviously let anybody know how demoralized I was. But after that, I went outside and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm not coming back tomorrow. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe And again, I had a great support system. My family, and they were like, no, just see it through, keep going. Calm down, it's not a big deal. And then, by week 3, it was a totally different experience. And we all started to click. And then, they're like my cousins.
I love that. Yeah, I think he even made an appearance on Girl Meets World. So
Yeah,
he asked
yeah.
a lot of the cast back.
Absolutely, for sure. When they asked me to do that, it's like your family going, hey, would you want to try it again one more for the Gipper?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to get into the podcast. So I know you've all worked together
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. You all worked together on Brotherly Love, the show Brotherly Love, where you guys got to work together, which is really cool.
Yep.
And now on the Brotherly Love podcast, which, by the way, if you have not checked out the Brotherly Love podcast, what are you doing with your life? It launched, I think, in 2023. You guys started it?
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years.
And get this, it currently holds a 4.6 out of 5 rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can check it out on YouTube.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And you can check it out on YouTube. You can check out clips on their socials. But I want to read something about, they talk about your authentic sibling chemistry. And I grabbed this quote from an article I read. It says, their natural banter and genuine care for each other brings a refreshing sincerity unmatched by typical celebrity podcasts. Listeners constantly praise the brothers' heartwarming humor and unbreakable sibling bonds, making it a top-rated show in podcast rankings. And it just seems like you guys just have a blast on it. I enjoy listening to it. Talk about your experience. What have been some of your favorite guests? Is there a guest that you haven't had on the show that you want on the show?
Lots of them.
Well, we
Tons of them.
hardly had any guests.
Yes,
There's
true.
so many guests. The list is so large. We really
Barely
started
scratched the
not knowing
surface.
really what we were doing, right? Because honestly, I hadn't really listened to podcasts at all.
He still doesn't.
I mean, I really don't.
Just
No,
honestly.
I mean, Matt, but honestly, I think they're, just in the last few years, they've super exploded. But before then, it was kind of like people would listen or they wouldn't listen. It wasn't like TV, even though they're becoming more and more like TV. People would listen, they wouldn't really watch, And more and more people are watching now.
I watch most of it. Like
Right.
I've heard some of them like just audio ones, but I like actually going and watching it.
And more people are doing that, and it's, I think, this is crazy because more people watched ours initially 2 years ago. People were like, whoa, what's going on? And now the whole industry is shifting to more watching than even listening. You're listening as you watch.
Amy Poehler's doing one herself also, and people are watching her.
Of course.
She's kind of late to the game, she says, but I mean, it's really a cool thing to see because it gives you guys an insight into who they are as people. You love their work and you follow their, all their projects that they're doing constantly, but to see the real, like, who your personality is, who you are, and in your case, what makes it unique with you is the connection you guys have. And I mean, God, it's just really cool to watch that, the banter, the whole thing. It's a special podcast. It really does set you guys apart. And
I appreciate that. Like I said,
Like and
like and subscribe on YouTube.
We're actually taking it on the road, too.
We are, we're taking it on the road.
Vegas, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a Vegas show.
Tell them what
Big
you're
Vegas
doing.
show, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing 2 nights live at the Strat. You know the Strat Hotel in Vegas?
Tallest point on the strip.
Tallest point in the strip. Way to go, man.
Oh, all right.
We're doing it
August 15th and 16th.
August 15th.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah, and then it's the beginning of like random dates around the country as we take the pod on tour. So we have a date back in Foxwoods, Connecticut. We're going to Minneapolis. We have a date in Orlando, Florida. So it's just
Just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Maybe next year will be a lot more, we think. So it's I don't know. It's crazy because we really literally started it because we didn't know what was going to happen during COVID. And coming out of COVID, we were like, where is this world going? So we sort of started this thing, and it was literally just dinner table conversation. We didn't really know what we were doing. We never had any themes. We've never really done anything other than just say,
No plan.
no, let's sit down.
No
and just talk
idea
like
what
we
to
talk
do.
we go out to eat.
Let's see what happens.
And it's just grown from there. So the guests we got on all make sense. They're all either friends or people that we work with. It's not, very few people have come on that we haven't known. We're getting into that now because things we're interested in, whether it's science is for Matt, or, music, and, or whether it's, health and fitness, which we're all into. These things are happening as we speak, and the show continues to evolve, which is what's so cool, because with a podcast, it can evolve, It's not like a TV show. Even those evolve, but they're more structured. There is so little structure with a podcast, they can really turn into so many different things, and I feel like every week we sort of find something new.
For me, what's the coolest part about it is that it's been received so well, and that it means so much to us to know that we've impacted people's lives growing up, and that the family bond is something that maybe people want to emulate or they appreciate, and that means so much to us. And then the fact that the support was out there.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then it's for us to keep going with this podcast, like that's awesome. And the fact that we're going to keep it going, and it means a lot.
Yeah, it does. So
I can't see where it goes. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Going and growing, and we'll see what happens.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Who do you want on the show? Who's like one that you guys
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go.
I mean,
We all want to eat popcorn with Tom Cruise. And honestly, I don't know. It'd be cool to have. It'd be cool to have certain idols that you've grown up, like Andy said. I'd love to have some basketball players on, some athletes. Because I'm a sports guy. Oh my gosh, ever. That'd be amazing. He's going to be contributing again for NBC Sports. The NBA is coming back to NBC,
Yeah.
which is. If anybody grew up in the 90s, it was the NBA on NBC. Back when it was a real game, before they just hooked up 3-pointers from the half court. You actually had to play some actual basketball. And flops, yeah. So that'll be cool. But somebody like that would be amazing. Certain directors that we've always...
directors would be awesome.
Spielberg would be so cool.
Or even Tim Burton. Honestly, anybody.
Anybody.
You could throw a
Chris
stone.
Columbus. Chris Columbus on. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Anyway, but I think
Brad Pitt on his F1 publicity tour.
You never know though.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how people are, becoming more and more aware of the show. So,
Guys, we're going to start lining up for your questions. We're going to get short on time soon, so be sure to line up. Get ready to do these. And I'll be opening up to questions here. So just go and line up on this right behind. Thank you. This right here. So real quick before we get into, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give them time to line up there. On that note, a little bit about some of the different things that you guys have done on the podcast. Music has been a big part of that. Music's also been a huge part of all of your lives. I remember listening to, oh my gosh, Joey. I'm like, again, my Joey shirt is like showing right now, but love Camp. Stay Forever was the jam for me. I love that song so much. So very talented. And then of course you guys do your 3. I know, but I just heard it. Yeah, I was listening to it on the way here just to get into the vibe.
Really?
Yes.
I wanna stay ever with you.
Oh, stop. My glasses have been
Feeling
falling
every heartbeat so close to mine.
I
Wanna stay forever with you.
So I'm a singer. So I take.
Stay forever with you.
Died, right? I just died. So I'm a singer, and so I take you to.
Really?
I do a local band here.
No way.
Well, we're making Joe dust off the old cobwebs for the Vegas show. I shouldn't be relieving any secrets, but he will be singing a few of his old tunes.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Live band, we have a whole
That's a
thing
live
going
band.
on.
We're doing like a full show.
So freaking talented.
It's not gonna just be the pod up there.
No,
We're
we're
doing
doing
other
musical
things.
numbers, and we're going to make him do a bunch of
We're a
stuff.
little Vegas.
You guys are too much. I love
We'll
it.
see.
I gotta tell you, I caught the episode of the podcast where you sang "Stand by Me" with your dad.
Oh, yeah.
And I got emotional watching it.
Hey, thank you.
It was a beautiful moment. I felt, again, that was what the podcast allows you guys to do, is have these like sporadic moments that nobody's expecting. And I was watching that one, and then I saw you guys break out. You could tell it was just unplanned. They just started doing it.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
a big inspiration, right? His music,
Yeah.
Motown, and all that.
Well, my mom and dad both sing really well. My dad, and we've said this before, my dad's 75 now, but he looks amazing. But he literally, when he was Matt's age, mine was Andy's age, I'm telling you, one of the best male voices you've ever heard.
His
My
range
dad can sing.
doesn't make sense.
He
Yeah,
can,
he can, but his
my
range-
dad doesn't even sing. This is a muscle, as you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't sing as much now, and they're not as good as they used to be. It's just the way it works. It's a muscle. You have to train to keep it going. And the older you get, the elasticity and the the muscle, it just wears
Like
out.
It wears out like anything else.
Yeah.
So
That's
at
why it's so important to take care of
75,
your voice.
It really is, it really is.
so at 75, you're just not singing like you did at 45. It's not happening, even if you train every day, it's not happening, right? My dad, when he was my age, and Matt's, I mean, the guy, literally, Steve Perry, Steve Winwood, Michael McDonald. My dad had, I'll tell you,
like
my
the
dad.
Temptations, the Proud to Be, even sing, even just, I know you want to leave me, that whole thing, like everything perfect.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, my dad has a way better voice than me. Way better. Truly. Yes.
And I want to at least make it quick before we get to the questions. This guy here. So
Thanks.
I'll be very honest with you. I had not listened to your music before I started deep diving and doing more research on you guys, and I'm a huge fan of yours now, Andy. If you guys go check out, I'm being serious. Go to Spotify and check out Andy Lawrence and his musicality. It's more kind of what I'm into, like the indie style. Like it has just so many elements. There's jazz elements and horns and like saxophone and like EDM style. I mean, it's all just kind of synthesized. Like it's so good, guys. Go check it out. So you guys it's just really impressive to see the range.
Andy, Matt and I said it all the time. When Andy first started working on music, I mean, and Andy's made so many amazing songs that you guys will probably never hear, unfortunately. Maybe you will. But Andy's songs, Andy was a perfectionist to a fault. He never would release the songs. So he would just keep remixing.
I for
years be like, release the damn, it's so good. I need another polish. And he would just be this weird artist that would create his paintings and never show anybody. Andy, Matt and I said, I'm telling you something right now. 15 years ago, Andy was on his way to be the next John Mayer. Dave Matthews, I'm telling you, he just never released anything.
So good, and I feel the John Mayer a little bit. Like I get the touch of that.
Thanks.
It's so good, guys.
Yeah, it's
Well,
so good. So maybe you will one day. We'll see.
Make that
He's still pretty
thing.
young.
You have to, Andy. It's ridiculous. I don't know why you're not doing that. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with our questions. You can give your name and make sure you get all of them because sometimes it's hard to hear on that mic.
All right.
So name and
I have a
question.
very loud voice.
Ooh, I like it though. Very
You're
sultry.
gonna be like Prince with all your stuff in a vault, and we don't get to see it until you're gone.
Exactly right.
So excited to hear you sing right in front of me, in person. I had your stuff all on my wall, and you rocked a paparazzo. I mean, and we know your walrus, you know, whatever.
Yes.
Would you ever be on Masked Singer? And if you would, what would you sing?
Honestly, I guess so, if they ever invite me. And what would I sing? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I probably, truthfully, I would go out there and pick something. I put on some sort of accent or something. I can do accents, right? So I try to choose a song that nobody would like. I really
You
disguise.
think that until they throw you out on stage in an 8-foot costume.
Well, at least
Where you can't breathe, see,
It looks
you
very
can't
hot.
do anything.
At least he had
Sounds like my normal life, man.
No, at least he had a cool costume, dude. I had some walrus, some dumb walrus. I look like Paddington Walrus.
They don't really, I don't think you really get to Toto. I'd go against Kurt Reigns down in Africa.
Yeah.
And one more. What is one of your favorite bands from 90s and below decade?
One of my favorite bands?
All of you, favorite band.
Gosh, there's so many. I can't even, where do I start? Everything from Rage Against the Machines, Audio Slave, Dave Matthews, back to the Temptations, and everything in between. Led Zeppelin, it just goes on and on and on and on. I love music, so anybody.
I would say Huey Lewis in the News.
That's a good one.
I love
It goes on and on and on, sorry.
Dire Straits.
Oh my, Steve Winwood, Aerosmith,
All the way back to the Pointer Sisters. Dude, keep going on and on and on.
I love everything from White Snake all the way to like
Bruce Hornsby.
in the range. Bruce Hornsby in the range. The music is undeniably better. I know for if there are any young people out there, which as we get older, there are fewer young people out there, because I'm old. But I really feel like we were able to grow up in such a sweet spot, man. The music in the 80s and 90s was,
And you had everything from generations before, yeah.
You should sing some past on your podcast.
I say it all the time, and I appreciate today's music. I say it all the time. What?
Talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said you guys should sing stuff on your podcast, like
Oh, we do.
decades,
Yeah,
like do a 70s night or.
We do. 70s, 80s, 90s, some yacht rock stuff. I love yacht rock. I love it. Oh my gosh. Michael McDonald. The Hit Machine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question. Next question, your name and your question.
Hello, my name is Jose. I have a question for Matt. Would you ever consider doing a reboot or anything with Superhuman Samurai Squad?
Oh man, I've been getting a lot more of that lately. I don't know. I did keep in touch with the creator for a while there. Maybe I can get a hold of him. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it though.
Because I used to watch that all the time. I got a VHH tape with 4 episodes and I wrote that out.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite things.
I'll look into it for you for sure. I'll see if there's any opportunity there.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
of
for your
course,
question. Guys, keep it, if you can't keep it just to the one question, I know that I do that too. Like I have a 2-parter, but we're gonna make sure we get as much as you guys can before we run out of time.
All right, guys, how are you doing today? First off, this is for Joey. Whoa! Had to get that out, man.
That's pretty
Had
good.
to get that out.
That's actually pretty damn good.
So kind of feel you guys' pain. I had an older brother. We shared bunk beds. He was at least 14, 15, I think. So yeah, I get it. I understand the pain.
Yeah.
It's what it is. But my question is, what would you guys be doing if he hadn't grown up in the industry? Like, is there some other career paths that you guys probably would have done if you were not in this business?
Sure. Matt, you want to go first? We'll go down.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm starting to do more of it. I'm starting to figure out a way to kind of combine them now, which is cool. And that would be conservation. I would have been working out somewhere probably, in Africa or Australia or anywhere where there's the things that I'm really crazy about, which would be the reptiles and amphibians. But I also love the big cats, so I don't know. I would have gone into that, yeah. Whether it had been zoology or actually just a biologist out in the field, it would have been one of the two.
That was so cool to learn about you too, is that's a big part of your...
Yeah, and I'm getting, again, because of the podcasting, and I say this, but this is the coolest thing about podcasting, you get to also meet people of the kind of, that are at like the pinnacle of what they do, and you get this Rolodex, and now that I've been talking more and more about animals, I'm starting to meet other podcasters who are in conservation or who are zoologists, and now I'm starting to kind of infiltrate that world for the first time in my life, so it's super cool. Yeah.
Joey, what would you be doing?
I always said that like being a lawyer was something that I always wanted to do because I like...
You and Kim K.
You idiot.
Kardashian.
Yeah. I feel like, that would be kind of something that would be exhilarating to go into a courtroom and try to prove my point to somebody.
You're very persuasive. I'd be like, I believe it.
He's very persuasive.
Guilty, not guilty, whatever you say.
Yeah, and then honestly, like...
Couldn't get a word out in the courtroom.
Definitely wouldn't. And then I've always been drawn to politics because I feel like I've always wanted to make a difference, always.
President
I
Joe.
feel like there is so much middle ground where everybody agrees on. I feel like nobody talks about the middle area.
Don't talk about the things that we have in
They do
common.
not. We have more in common than we don't.
Yes, I agree.
And like I said, I know you fundraise off of our differences, but you don't really need that. I think if you can get the message to people, and you can now more than ever. I feel like we could really persuade a lot of people out there to band together, and then we get things done. Right?
I love that. That's great, right? You can always side politics, right? And Andy, what would you be doing?
It's changed over the years, but today I would be a archaeologist and adventurer in pursuit of historical and mythical artifacts.
Oh my gosh,
Like Dr. Jones.
He loves Indiana Jones.
I'd love to be Indiana Jones. I could totally do that. I could run around. I could do it. Like that actually.
or like Nick Cage.
Yeah,
National Treasure.
more like Indy. I think the whip and the peacemaker and the hat and the motorcycle and old Jeep, like that sounds good to me.
Dr. Jones.
I love that. Snakes. I actually don't like snakes.
See?
I don't like snakes.
Love it.
I know they're going to reboot Indiana Jones. So.
Again and again, I'm
I
sure.
know.
Yeah, they're talking about it again.
Your name and your question.
Hi, my name is Natalia. The 14-year-old in me is screaming right now, of course. I am also the oldest I have 2 younger sisters, and they always remind me of traumatizing pranks I did on them. They're lying, but is there any pranks that you guys have like memorable on each other?
Honestly.
Pranks? Yes, I do.
I bet you're
Up to your
traumatized. My little
pranks.
sister's traumatized.
I was actually the most mellow older brother ever, I think. I didn't play pranks, did I?
Did I think of?
No,
we always played the pranks on you.
Yeah. Well, I was a lot bigger than Matt very quickly. So I grew very quick, and Matt was very small for his age and then grew, right? So I had a big size difference on Matt. So when we got into like a spat or something, I would just sit on him and then he would act like I was killing him. And then he did it so convincing, I thought I was, and then my mom and dad were gonna get so mad, so he would...
He tried to hide the body and he got the whole thing.
No, so I would go like this.
Remember that scene in Step Brothers when he actually buries him?
No, so I would do things like I'd grab Matt and he'd throw himself into the wall and go, "No, you got me!" And then my parents would come running and he'd set me up.
Yeah,
so I was so
I used to
afraid
do that a
to
lot.
touch him. He also bit me and then he punched me.
And I punched him
In
too.
the face.
In the face.
Yeah. But my dad said the biggest, you have to have restraint. And I've taken that through my whole life. I really have had a lot of restraint.
I play the pranks now. Matt doesn't have the best eyesight, and with all of his animals, I went through a phase. I keep buying like rubber lizards and rubber snakes, and as I went as far as to buying a skeleton lizard, and I put it in his cage, and I'm like, "Oh no, Matt!" And he'll run outside with his bad eyesight. He tried to catch a lizard once. I was like, "Matt, it's right there." He's like, "What?" I can kind of see it. And he caught it, and then it was a rubber lizard. He's like, "What? This is..." Yeah, you know. But he can catch lizards, so it was anyway.
Matt just jumps into the bush and will come out with stuff.
But you remember that when you got the rubber?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, traumatized for life. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Y'all look
question.
amazing.
But I appreciate it.
And I'm so sorry, we're actually running out of time. I'm so
Okay.
sorry, guys, but that was gonna be our last question.
Oh, we can take it.
I know, did you have did he have the question?
We can take it.
We'll answer quickly.
We'll just answer quickly. We'll take another
Speed
minute.
round.
Speed round.
Speed round. What was your question?
Do you like Pokemon?
Love it.
Love it. Pokemon is great. Love it.
Love it.
Great job.
Guys, thank you so much. Check out the Brotherly Love podcast. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Put your hands together again for the Lawrence Brothers, guys. Joey, Matt, and Andy Flores. Go check out their booth. Go get your autograph. Go ask them if you have any other questions. Go ask them at their booth, guys. Thank y'all so much. Thank you guys so
Thanks, everybody.
much. It was awesome.